402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the 6-year senior tight end, finding his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by Ep Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
Yes, it is a Friday here in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket. Mikey Daniel, well, he's got a bachelor party to go to, so he's out having some fun. But we are still in here, Chancellor Brewington in studio, and I'm Jake Bachman. Chancellor, how are we feeling on this Friday? It's a game before game day, or a day before game day.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. We gotta get back into it. I hope the boys are rejuvenated. I hope the boys are fired up, ready to go. Of course, Mikey's not in the studio, but it's me and Bach holding it down today. We always start off with a quote card. I'm Chancellor Brewington. Usually Mikey Daniels does it, but we're going to start off with a quote card by Neville Goddard. He said, "You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe it is the only reason you do not see it." It's the law of assumption, is that, the things that you really want, your desires and things like that. Assuming and becoming that assumption, and understanding that, what the world says, you got to work towards something, you got to grind. If you study some of Neville's work, man, he does a great job describing the law of, or the principle of least action, and just becoming that which you desire to be. And it has to come to you because of the law of attraction and all those universal laws that govern everything we see, do, and experience here on earth. So it's if you ever get a chance to study his work, it's phenomenal. But we got a bunch of stuff to get into, Bach. Starting obviously with Nebraska USC. And as the headline says, I really believe, I was on here talking last night with Harrison. I really believe Holgorsen can maybe save us. What are your initial thoughts right now? I know usually as the week goes on, like Monday, you're feeling, all right. Tuesday, you might get a surge of energy off of what Rule says or some, Thursday, you're feeling good. Then Friday, for me, I always am super excited. Then Saturday morning, I come back to earth. But how are you feeling right now? We got USC tomorrow, I believe at 2 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's at 3 on Fox. 3. But yeah, it's funny how you describe that, because that's definitely my weekly go through. And right now it's Friday, so I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty excited, and thinking the best for Nebraska. But it is a game I expect to be close. I mean, the spread's relatively close, and both teams have kind of struggled to win those close games. So somebody's going to have to win it in the fourth quarter. Maybe a play call here and there, or just the more smoothness of which you kind of build those plays on top of each other could be the difference here for Nebraska. So I mean, I think my confidence is. I mean, I would be lying if I was saying I definitely believe they're going to win tomorrow. But right. I think I'm, inching close to this is a 50-50 game here.
Yeah, I truly believe if we went and saw the spread, I believe it was on Wednesday. It was a 9-point spread. And then it went 9.5. And then within the time of the locker room show yesterday and my nighttime show, it went from 9.5 to 7.5. And so Vegas must be feeling something. They must be feeling something. Maybe it was probably because the news about Raiola came out. He's expected to play because we talked about it. If you have Heinrich in there, I mean, that's a whole nother offense, a whole nother skill set, a whole nother play calling. And, that it brings the next point to Holgorsen and what he's going to bring to this team and what he's going to bring to this offense. Rule has said press conference after press conference that, it's been all hands on deck, with obviously Satterfield would have to help him out learning his offense. But also, the running back coach, Coach Raiola, Coach McGuire, I'm sure the whole offensive staff is trying to get him up to pace and make sure that he's able to call a game. This isn't just something where, he's just going to be calling, a couple plays here and there. No, he's going to be calling the whole game. So I'm excited to see what happens. I think to start off, I think we should go through definitely some areas of improvement that this offense needs to improve on. And I think the first area would just be consistency throughout the game. You want to start fast and you want to end fast, or you want to end running the ball with the ball in your hands, of course. But I'll just say consistency with play calling, getting to something you like. And I think consistency builds identity. And that's something we lacked. We haven't had identity. We haven't had something to where we know, like even the fans, like, if you're a Penn State fan, how their offense is run. If you're even a Rutgers fan, Monungai going to get the rock and he's going to, this, and this. If you're Oregon, they going to, spread you out and move the ball based on the box numbers. With Nebraska, it's like it seems like you're split between so many opinions. And I think Holgorsen is the guy to say, he's got the tenure, he's got the experience for him to say, hey, this is the way I like it. I have the experience, I have the results to show that this is going to work.
Yeah, it's interesting. You think about, over the 21 games that was called by Coach Sat, that they've had one 100-yard rusher out of the backfield, and Anthony Grant last year.
That was last year.
Last year against Louisiana Tech. So, that's the one game you've had a 100-yard rusher. So, there's a lot of focus on the passing game and what you can do to unlock Dylan Raiola. Well, part of it is to play complementary football, to provide a running game. So I'm very intrigued to see if they can kind of get something going there. Because I think that's what Dylan needs. When we talk about Dylan a little bit earlier, I was talking with Terrell and Cannon 80% Dylan, if that's where he's at, whatever it is, win this game. And whether he's 80% or 100%, he's the pro stock quarterback. He's going to need some help around him. And man, would it help this offense to have some sort of running game. But, to your point too, you're just kind of thinking through not having an identity. It just seems like, 1 week you're throwing 12 screen passes. The next week you're not. 1 week you're doing a bunch of end around against Rutgers, and then you don't go back to it. Nebraska just never had their bread and butter. Like, it's good to scout opponents and to add a few wrinkles in based off what they don't do well. But it seemed like Nebraska's game plan has been too based on what the other team doesn't do well, or what they think they don't do well, rather than strengthening what you do well. And at least having that bread and butter to go to.
Yeah, it almost seems like I would love to be in a defensive meeting scouting Nebraska. And I'm sure they're probably like, well, guys, like, when they tell, Monday or Sunday night, you have your unit meeting scouting the new team, you get your scouting report, and you're probably, defense corner is probably up there like, hey, this team does a lot of stuff. Not really good at one thing. Just stay disciplined and we'll win this game. That's honestly what it is. Like, you don't have to, you send a little bit more blitzes. We've seen that starting with Indiana game, actually Rutgers game. They sent a lot of blitzes. Indiana copied it. Ohio State perfected it, sent a lot of blitzes at us. And then we saw UCLA do the same thing. That might be the adjustment. But as far as the way this offense was going, and, I believe things are going to change with Holgorsen. But honestly, you just had to be in the right place at the right time, or get in your right spots, align the right way, assign the right way, and you was probably going to get the job done just based on the inconsistency. So that's something I'm really hoping we can improve on. I think the next thing is getting a philosophy on like what he likes to, first down, second down, third down. Is he a run on or pass on first down, run on second, throw on third? What's his philosophy third and short? And one thing I know about air raid officers, they love mesh. They love the crossers. They love getting rubs. They like picking people when teams decide to play man-to-man. That helps out Raiola. Another thing is quick game. That's something we just don't really see from this offense. Not really in the Satterfield's philosophy. But this team has a lot of question marks, because now even on the defensive end, you got question marks there. How are they going to respond? Everyone's talking about the offense, but that first quarter, I'll say the first and a half quarter of the UCLA game, it was a completely different defense. I mean, UCLA, of course, Garbers, he played, probably the game of his career right there. He just had a fantastic day. But you look at especially the first quarter, UCLA could have got to whatever they wanted to. I mean, hitting the running back out the backfield, picking on the young guy, Jeremiah Charles. D-line couldn't really get to the quarterback. We lose contain with McGahee, just little things like that spark those type of things. So I think the biggest thing for me is, the offense, but seeing what defense comes out to play against USC.
Yeah, I think that's right on point. That's really ultimately, to me, going to be what decides this game, because USC does have a lot of good athletes, as you would imagine, in their skill position, led by Woody Marks. And yes, his name is Woody based off the Toy Story character. If you don't know, he's a big Woody and Toy Story fan back in the day. But so that name stuck with him. But he's a guy to watch out. Zachariah Branch was, breaking out as a freshman last year. Doesn't have a touchdown on offense yet this year,
really?
So still looking to break into the end zone. Yeah,
that's a guy where he's too explosive. I think they got to figure him out. I think that's a guy he goes and plays at Bama or Georgia somewhere next year, and he's a draft pick. I think that's that type of talent. I mean, USC has those type of guys. They have a great pool. They have a great pool of talent. They have a great pool of, recruitment in Cali. I mean, SoCal and NorCal. I mean, really, I could say SoCal, and, they have some of the best high school football, and, obviously you got AZ right there. They got some good football. You go up to, Washington, they have some pretty good football, but, and Nevada, of course, has great football with, Bishop Gorman and all those high schools. But they have a great talent pool. I think that's one thing, Nebraska coaches and Nebraska fans probably envy sometimes is, being, I always say, closer to the coast, because I don't know why, but, there's great football players in Nebraska, but you just have more great football players by water. I don't know what it is.
More population,
right?
Yeah.
It might be just a numbers game, but, you go down to Florida, of course, but you go down to Cali. I remember playing those tournaments out there, and, there's every team in there has, 4-star, 5-star, and, USC, I don't think anyone predicted Oregon to be the team that was going to be undefeated in the Big Ten, or especially the team out of the conference merger. You thought Washington maybe was going to get something done with, them coming off the year. Of course, they lose a bunch of transfers, get a new coach, yada, yada, yada. And then you got, USC. You're thinking maybe they're going to figure something out. Miller Moss looks really good against LSU. And now they go into this whole different situation with the quarterback. We talked about it yesterday. Nebraska obviously is dealing with the offense coordinator, but I think USC, that battle with the quarterback is something different, because now as a player, you're having to trust this young guy, and if you're offensive player, skill guy, receiver, tight end, I've seen it happen where guys try to do a little bit too much, meaning, they try to perfect the route a little bit too much. They try to break it off a certain way to help out a young quarterback. And it's always kind of in the back of your mind, like, I got to do X, Y, and Z to help this guy out. So I think really capitalizing on a new quarterback, especially for this D-line, especially for this defense, will definitely be a key to victory for me against USC.
Oh, and let's hope so. I mean, it's interesting. Jaden Maiava, obviously did start at UNLV. I mentioned before, they've had 3 different quarterbacks now in the last 2 years that have had success at UNLV. So you kind of wonder how much of it was him. But at the same time, you look at Lincoln Riley, and this change in the quarterback room, at any time would be interesting, but particularly for Lincoln Riley, who has 3 Heisman Trophy winners under his belt as a head coach at the quarterback position. Remember, similar situation when he was in Oklahoma. Obviously, Caleb Williams followed him out there, but he thought he had 2 good quarterbacks at Oklahoma, and he went with Spencer Rattler for a long majority of the season. At some point, made the switch to Caleb Williams. And if Caleb Williams had played, the entirety of 2021 season, he might have won the Heisman that year in Norman. So, I mean, I'm not saying Jaden Maiava is that guy, but Lincoln Riley has a history, and he's going to be elusive. He's big. He's 6'4", 220.
There you go.
From Honolulu, not from Honolulu, but from Hawaii. And I think he could. With Lincoln Riley's track record of quarterbacks, we'll just say that this could be the start of a big run for him. He's a young guy, so hopefully it's not a good run because Lincoln Riley is feeling the pressure down there at USC. So he kind of needs something, a spark. I would argue that Miller Moss, who's sitting over on the bench, probably the best quarterback in the game, but not going to play. Struggled with 3, but as far as statistically, he is.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I don't want obviously USC to play good against Nebraska, but I think college football is fun to watch when USC is good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when USC is rocking, especially I like when UCLA is a good team, back in the, early Josh Rosen days and back in those days. I mean, you like to see those Cali teams on fire because it's just good for football, especially now being in the Big Ten. Me and Mike talked about the SEC and the Big Ten matchup. And this is what I want to get to on the break. Mikey midway through the season was drinking that Kool-Aid a little bit too much and saying that, the Big Ten is just as good as the SEC. If you go and look at the numbers now, it's a landslide win versus SEC. And that's what I want to get into on the next segment.
Very interesting stuff. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll jump into that. Coming up next year in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket with Chancellor Brewington. We'll be back after this.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Male have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Male. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmale.com.
We fix basements.
We fix basements.
We fix basements.
We fix basements. We fix basements.
At F Foundation Repair, we've been fixing basements for over 30 years. We're your local foundation repair experts. Our warranties stay here. Our people work here. You can trust us to take care of your home. Go to WeFixBasements.com to learn more.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henry's at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com. Or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road. Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. As you gear up for game day this season, don't forget the MVP in your life. Whether it's a ruby bracelet to show off her team spirit or a timeless Heartland diamond that shines from across the room, we've got the perfect play. Our experts at Sartor Heyman are here to help you make the winning move. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back in the locker room here on 93.7 The Ticket. Mikey Daniel is out. Chancellor Brewington is here in studio, further breaking down Nebraska and USC and some of the bigger storylines in college football. Chancellor, I throw it to you.
Yes, sir. So we obviously gotta talk about this USC game and figure out, or not figure out. We gotta give our predictions back.
Yeah,
we gotta give our predictions, but we got a clip from Coach Rule kind of to explain it. We talked about the Nebraska side, but Rule talks about the USC side and what USC brings to the table and what we can look out for from this USC roster.
Yeah, here is Coach Rule specifically talking about their new quarterback. All eyes are going to be on him on the USC side, Jaden Mayava.
We play against Coach Riley, one of the great offensive masterminds in football. I mean, you have to first stop the run. Woody Marks, I think, is one of the best backs I've seen in a long time. Tremendous run system that they have, and then they've added in, both with Miller and I'm sure with Jaden as well, added in the ability to pull the ball and run what amounts to triple option. So they're running power and counter gap type schemes to one side and pulling the ball, and quarterback can run it or throw to a guy who's on the perimeter. So very akin to when they had Jalen Hurts when we competed against him at Oklahoma. So we went back and I watched the quarterback at UNLV that a lot of the same things in that go offense there. Triple option type plays, throws an elite deep ball. So there's, he's a really, really talented player. There's a reason why everybody wanted him when we went in the portal last year, and he's getting his opportunity. I thought Miller Moss played exceptionally well as well. So, I mean, again, Coach Riley's he's the best that there is in my mind.
He's the best that there is. That's interesting. So I hear a bunch of I hear he's a dynamic quarterback that he can run a little bit. That's always kind of it's always tough to game plan for. I'm sure as a defensive guy, quarterback run is some of the hardest stuff you got to game plan for, because you can't play too much coverage behind it. You're out of a gap in one place. Those runs hit, especially with the triple option stuff. Especially with a guy like Lincoln Riley, he can get to triple option, in an unorthodox way, meaning, it's usually, handoff dive, and then obviously you got the pitch read. Well, they can just do the little handoff, mesh point, whatever, quarterback pull it, and the triple option guy or the triple option read is the apex defender or the nickel or that's all I can describe it as, the apex defender. And the triple option guys, the receiver split out wide, and he has the option to throw it out there, right? And so when you're playing against minds like Lincoln Riley, and he's a genius. I mean, he's one of those guys that when you turn on the tape and see some of the things he did with at Oklahoma, and what he's doing at USC, what he's done his whole career. I mean, those are the type of guys where the defensive meetings are, look, we're game planning some stuff. There's going to probably be some stuff during the game that we have to coach up, because a guy like, he's got this unique mind and philosophy of calling plays. But, I definitely think the overall picture of this, the keys to victory of this game is, first of all, taking care of the football. That's always going to be key to victory. Taking care of the football, moving the football on offense, because I believe USC is going to move the football. You got a bunch of playmakers. They're going to spin it out there and make plays, of course. And then obviously, I think D-line getting home. D-line is going to have a great opportunity stopping the run and causing some turnovers and helping out this offense, right? Helping Holgorsen get put in some better situations. And then lastly, when we get in the red zone, execute. Right now, I think we're around 68%. That's 14%. We're in the 14th percentile in the country right now in the red zone. And that's not where you want to be. And that's why we bring in Holgorsen. So time to get the prediction. Man, it's tough. It's tough, Bach. Every time I come on here and give a prediction, it never goes my way. But I still got faith in the boys, and I'm gonna go 24-21 Huskers. That's all I can give them. I can't give them any more than 3 points.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's going to be big for Nebraska's defense to hold USC to around that number. I mean, Holgorsen coming in, hopefully, can spark the offense a little bit, but I don't think anybody's thinking 38-42 type of shootout type of game. So, it's going to come down to the details. I'm glad you brought out, the red zone offense. I think a lot of it's going to be, holding them to field goal attempts rather than touchdowns. And on the opposite side, converting your opportunities. USC, obviously don't have the best numbers all the way around because they're a 4-5 football team, but they are top 20 in the nation in third down conversion rate and third down defense. So on both sides of the ball, third down is going to be a big down, as it usually is. But that in the red zone stuff could really change this game quite a bit. This is a game that I'm a little bit nervous about because you look up and down this schedule, and Nebraska's defense has been a top 25 defense, and but a lot of that in part, and I don't lean too much into this, but I know a lot of people will say, well, they play a lot of Big Ten West weak offenses or whatever. Well, that's not the case this week. This is USC. This is one that you circle, not necessarily at the beginning of the year for as a game, but as that's going to be a tough offense to stop. So you're going to need the offense to come out for Nebraska's side and maybe win a little bit of a shootout. I'm a little bit nervous, and I unfortunately predicted a few of the losses so far for Nebraska, so I hate to do it.
Oh, no.
But I'm going to kind of flip your score and go 27-24 USC. I think it's a close game for both teams, and I hope that with that, a close game of USC, I know they're 4-5, but they are favored. I hope that there can be some energy brought over to week 2, because I think the more time you give this new, Holgorsen, just to be quite frank, it should get better game by game. But this first week, I'm a little bit nervous just because it is a lot to ask in 2 weeks to try to get this thing completely turned around.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I just want to see, my biggest thing, obviously I want to win. I mean, yeah, we want to win, of course. I want to see improvement from the offense. And improvement could be, obviously it can translate in, obviously in points, right? But I want to see a well smooth offense where you turn on the film, you turn on the game, and you're like, wow, okay, like there's improvement. I want to see improvement. I don't, Rome wasn't building a day. I don't expect, Raiola to throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Isaiah Nair go for 200 yards. I'm not expecting that, but I do want to see a different philosophy, a different strategy. If we go out there and run the same stuff, right, then I'm like, okay, well, nothing really changed. And then, the city's probably, there's probably riots or something. Yeah. I'm joking. There's not going to be riots, but, people want to see Nebraska get to where it was, obviously, in the 90s. And, there was big hopes this year, starting off 5-1 and, haven't won a game since. But we want to get back to the top of the Big Ten. And that brings up the topic that we teased before break was the top 5 teams in the nation right now are number 1, Oregon, number 2, Ohio State, number 3, Texas, number 4, Penn State, number 5, the Indiana Hoosiers. Coach Rule said something earlier this year at media days. There's ESPN took it for a ride and all these different things that went viral. But he said that there should be 4 teams from the Big Ten that make it to the college football playoffs. Well, if we look at it right now, though, he's correct. He's correct to the truest sense. Through 1 through 5, the only team that that is not from the Big Ten is Texas. And me and Mikey had this debate, and I guess I can't say he's winning. I would say he's losing right now. The debate was that the SEC conference or the Big Ten conference will match up good against the what did I say? Big Ten and SEC will match up at the end of the year pretty well. And that, you can mix in, 1 through whatever it is, 1 through 18, 1 through 16. And you can match those up and those teams can play and it will be good games. Well, when you look at the Big Ten conference, you got Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and then the next teams are Iowa, Minnesota, and Illinois. You go and look at the SEC right now, which is usually how it is. I don't know if it's maybe a couple ACC teams are usually in the mix that they're not. But, you got Tennessee, Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, LSU, South Carolina. And then you got a good team in Vanderbilt. They just, and then you go and look at Florida's schedule and Arkansas' schedule. They're playing all these top 25 teams every week. I personally think that Big Ten has a long ways to go, and I don't know if it's a battle that they can ever really win, just because we talked about recruiting pool. You go to Mississippi, Alabama, and you got schools in there that you can just pull from their neighborhoods and all these different things. That's going to be really hard to compete with, and obviously Nebraska can get good players and stuff like that. But I'm really impressed with, just the way the conference has been going. And then obviously the SEC's dominant run up to this point, staying kind of the head honcho in college football.
Well, and it is that middle group, I think, that's kind of frustrating with the Big Ten, because that drop off, because some people could argue, right back, well, they got 4 of the top 5 teams in college football, but one, that's just the rankings for right now too. Right. But to your point though, is that there's that big drop off, and that's what's kind of been frustrating. With Minnesota losing to UCLA, with Illinois dropping games that maybe they shouldn't. Iowa losing to UCLA, I should say. Minnesota didn't drop to UCLA. But every one of those teams, just right when you think, hey, they're top 25. If they can take that next step, you can kind of argue about depth within the SEC. They lose the game they shouldn't. Now in the SEC, they call that eating each other alive, right? But in the Big Ten, it's hard to believe it. It's hard just because Iowa and Minnesota and Illinois, though, you kind of know what brand they have, which is they can play a pretty darn good football game with you, but they're probably not going to have the athletes that you do have in the SEC or some of the coastal teams that can run away with it. So the Big Ten, unfortunately, is still kind of holding back on some of those teams that maybe have a higher ceiling than the Minnesota, Iowas, and Illinois when they get well, which is, the Nebraskas of the world. Certainly Michigan, we've seen in the past Michigan State when they're pretty good. So, it just seen some of those brands, and yes, we're looking at you, Nebraska, to rise, because I think they've got a higher ceiling than that middle tier right now in the Big Ten does. And it happens every year. And I get frustrated. I love Minnesota and Illinois, and
Right.
I really embraced the Big Ten West when we joined it. But there's always that opportunity to take that next step as a program. And every year they're dropping games that they shouldn't late. And so their magical 9 or 10 win seasons that are about to happen turn into 8-4 type seasons, and they're outside the top 25.
Yeah, it's super tough. It's super tough. Now transition to the top 25 games. There's a top 25 team that surprised me. I don't think you predicted it. I don't think I predicted it. I don't think Mikey predicted it. But Colorado, number 17, 7-2 right now. The playoff predictor, the all-state playoff predictor has them 24% getting in there. So it's not zero. It's not zero. It's definitely not zero. They can get in there, but I want to hit on some of these maybe upset alerts on these top 25 teams moving forward.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a wild weekend in college football. We'll talk about it coming up next year in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket. Chancellor Brewington ready to rock for the final segment on a Friday. We'll be doing that after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There are moments in life, surrounded by family and friends, when you realize this is what it's all about. For 65 years, the Riddles family has been creating jewelry to capture these precious moments, crafting one memory at a time to last forever. Now, join them in celebrating Riddles Jewelry's 65th anniversary with incredible savings. Enjoy up to 30% off engagement rings. And for a limited time, save up to an additional $700 on your ring purchase. At Riddles, they're more than jewelry. They're here to help you create moments that truly sparkle, surrounded by the people who matter most. Family owned. Today, tomorrow, forever. Riddles Jewelry.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186. Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
My husband has always been the one we depend on. He's a great dad, loves the outdoors, but lately he hasn't been himself. He tried to hide it, but I can tell he's struggling with his mental health. I called the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
988 calls and texts are free and confidential with skilled caring support 24/7. No judgment, just help.
988 saved my husband's life.
Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog? A cat? Or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
You know, Raiola and Holgorsen, I'm sure, have had plenty of one-on-one meetings. We're going to close the door behind us, and I'm going to say, hey, what did you like from this offense? What did you not like? You know, Raiola knows at the end of the day what's really going on with this offense. To be honest, that's what needs to catapult this offense. And this whole team is Raiola's play. You know, Sat's philosophy and Raiola's philosophy or Raiola's skill set just didn't match. I think this is going to match Raiola, and it's going to allow for his skill set to come out.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Glorious weekend of college football ahead, and we can break it down here in the locker room for the final segment of the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket. Chancellor Brewington in studio. Chancellor, let's start to you.
Utah versus Colorado. Utah goes to Colorado. We got like 5 of these to go to real quick, Bach. Who we got, Utah or Colorado?
I like Colorado. Utah obviously feeling like they got games stolen from them this last game, but Colorado, they've done pretty good against the lower level. I wouldn't say lower level, but you know, a lot of these Big 12 teams kind of stuck around in that 4-5 type of range too, and Colorado's been cleaning up, so I'm gonna stick with them.
I got Colorado too. LSU goes to Gainesville, I believe, for a night game. Who we got?
I like LSU to bounce back, but I could definitely see Florida. I mean, Florida's got more bite than the record shows.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is kind of one of those ones. It could get a little crazy. It could get a little crazy. I'll go with Florida. I'm going with Florida. Vegas knows something. It's 3.5 favorite. They must know something.
That'd be huge for Billy Napier. He needs a big win like
he needs one. I mean, he needs one. Missouri goes South Carolina. I think South Carolina can keep the streak going, and you know they can. I don't know if they're going to get into the college football playoffs, right? Of course, with three losses, but you know they're going to get a chance at a really good bowl game.
Nothing's better than a fired up Shane Beamer. That makes a special college football weekend even more special. So I hope we see it.
No, for sure. And then you got Boise State going to San Jose State. I think Boise State will get it done, but Ashton Genty is. I'm trying to do the math here. Is like 266 yards away from breaking that 2K record, or that 2K yard markage. Any chance that you think Boise State will drop this to San Jose?
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's getting interesting with that scenario too, though, because you know that power or a group of 5 team is going to have to get into the playoffs, as it's written in. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, Notre Dame is kind of one of those teams that's kind of sitting there. If Army can knock off Notre Dame, then they might take Boise State's spot, who beat Washington State. That's Washington State's only loss from the Pac-2. So it's lots of intrigue there to see what goes on. And a lot of people are just kind of penciling Boise State in there, but might have to politic a little bit at the end to get in.
I know, right? Big game of the week. I would say this is the one is Tennessee at Georgia. You know, Nico's playing good football. Carson Beck's been struggling lately. Some speculate that since he posted to his girlfriend on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. It's a hilarious tweet. But obviously that's just jokes. Carson Beck, the offense has been struggling. They played against Florida a couple weeks ago, had 2 turnovers in the first quarter. I think Tennessee goes to Georgia and gets it done.
I do too. I think Tennessee wins. There is a question of whether Nico can play because of his concussion. So that's a big deal. But I think lately we've been seeing it trend toward he's at least going to give it a shot, like Dylan Raiola here. But another one to look out for, Trevor Etienne for Georgia, is actually out there leading rusher. So they're going to have to go to Nate Frazier, a former Nebraska running back recruit, never quite committed to Nebraska, but was heavy on their radar. He's been getting a lot of looks. He'll get the majority of the carries for the Bulldogs.
That'll be a fun one to watch. I can't wait to watch it. And last game we got is Kansas goes to BYU. Can BYU, there's only 3 teams undefeated right now, BYU, Indiana, and I believe Army. Can Kansas upset BYU? I mean, their running back, Devin Neals, he's running the ball really good right now. I mean, they got BYU 2.5 favorite. I think it's going to be a 1-score game, a 3-score game. I still got BYU, though.
I'm picking the Rock Chalk Jayhawks.
They
got it done against Iowa State. I think they can pull the upset here. Try to salvage their season. They've got 3 games left. Got to win all 3 to get to a bowl game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate everyone listening to the Locker Room. I'm Chancellor Brewington. That's my man, Bach. Mikey Daniel will be back probably on Tuesday or Monday. We'll be back Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. every day. You listen to The Locker Room on 93.7 The Ticket.
We fix basements.
We fix basements.
We fix basements.
We fix basements. We fix basements.
At F Foundation Repair, we've been fixing basements for over 30 years. We're your local foundation repair experts. Our warranties stay here. Our people work here. You can trust us to take care of your home. Go to wefixbasements.com to learn more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
For a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. As you gear up for game day this season, don't forget the MVP in your life. Whether it's a ruby bracelet to show off her team spirit or a timeless Heartland diamond that shines from